Okay. Any of my fans out there that are disturbed by spiders or have arachnophobia, I apologize, but I'm still going to do this. This is Creepy Bone Spider. You may remember him from such One Piece reviews as chapter 993 that I did yesterday. And he's gonna go right here. And if that's not good enough, we also have, not a spider, but related to spiders, Scorpy the Scorpion. And he's gonna go right here. Alright, so yeah, this is one big happy family. Me next to a stuffed animal scorpion, a brick with a straw hat, and a plastic spider skeleton thing. I made it! Alright, so big spoilers for chapter 993 plus of One Piece. I'm just letting you know that right out of the gate. Alright, we good? Spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Kiku lost an arm! So that's not good. That's not good at all. We were kind of waiting for when that shoe was gonna drop. You know, when Kaido was gonna put on the giant dragon shoe and then drop it, and he did. I was kind of wondering whether or not like the injury from the Togen Totsuka was like gonna like cause him a lot of pain, and he was gonna like look at the scabbards and be like, oh, I see you are now all truly worthy of being called Kozuki Oden's disciples. No, nay, you are all Kozuki Oden. And I thought maybe that could have went and that like kicked off like the second phase of this battle where Kaido like takes them very, very seriously now. Clearly that was not the case that was going to happen. Although it did indicate that he at least like for a briefest of moment saw like Oden's visage behind them. For like that briefest of moment when they were all probably when Kinemon, Denjiro, Inu, and Ashura were all jumping up to attack him. At that one moment, Kaido like blinked and he's like, Oden? Shing! Like, oh, okay, I thought I saw Oden for a second. Now, I think that's some good foreshadowing for later because I still really want that to be a pivotal role in defeating Kaido. Like, Kaido acknowledging the scabbards. Maybe not like all of the scabbards at once, because that may or may not happen considering Kiku might be out of the fight for right now, but at one point recognizing that like Oden's power, Oden's legacy kind of lives on. It could be through Zoro, it could be through Luffy, it could be through everybody collectively together. Like when you get Kid, Law, Luffy, all the other Straw Hats, including Zoro and Avijimbe in there, and then you get the scabbards standing back up to fight against Kaido when everybody's charging at Kaido at once. All of a sudden, Kaido's like everybody merges together in Kaido's mind as just like a giant Kozuki Oden. Like, oh, that's what it took. It took every like major character in this entire story arc working together, fighting against Kaido for him to finally acknowledge that's about equal to one Kozuki Oden. Yeah, that's you get all the Straw Hats, all the scabbards, plus Law and Kid and everybody together. That equals one Oden. Okay. So I'm thinking we're going to move on to another stage of this fight. We might have another chapter, like chapter 994 might very well just be the flip side of this coin where the scabbards were beating the crap out of Kaido, and now Kaido gets kind of some revenge on that, where at first he slices Kiku's arm off, Kiku's sword is broken, so she's going to drop, and then you might have like Izo or somebody else running to kind of like oh, Kiku, no, I got to give you first aid or whatever really quick. So that might be going on, and then meanwhile you have like Ashura, Inu, and Neko, and they're like, oh, we have to, charge Kaido, we need to distract him until Kiku can be healed, and so they jump at Kaido, and then Kaido launches another attack. What other kinds of breath weapons does he have? He got the Boro breath, so that's fire, he's got the lightning breath, and he also has wind scythe breath. It's funny, way back when Kaido first turned into a dragon, he was a Chinese dragon, right? Now, this was before we even knew what color, Kaido's scales were, before we knew he was a blue dragon. Okay, it was just Kaido turning into a dragon, right? And I did some research into this, and Chinese dragons a lot of times have connections to water. So like how Western dragons, have like the dragons at Punk Hazard have a much more Western kind of design. They breathe fire, and like in Arthurian lore and stuff like that, you see dragons breathing fire. Here in Eastern lore, though, dragons often control like Chinese dragons like Shenron control water or have their elements be water-based. So we've yet to really see Kaido display any water-based abilities outside of being able to manipulate clouds, I guess, but even the cloud thing, like, hasn't really played a huge pivotal role yet. You'd think that being able to control clouds, he could just, like, cover up the moon, so the Sulong would be deactivated, but he hasn't done that yet, so I'm a little curious, because when he went into his dragon form at Okabore Town, the weather definitely changed. Like, that wasn't something just used for dramatic effect. Like, the weather clearly became, like, this dark haze, like, over the entire town, blocking out the sun when Kaido came a-knocking, right? You know what I mean? So, we got the cloud manipulation, we got Boro Breath, which is fire, we got Lightning Breath, which he could probably bust that out again, whatever. I mean, I think they all got lucky with the dex save there when they dodged it the first time, but, you know, Kaido really doesn't seem to have... I mean, I'm sure he has a limit. I'm sure he can't just go Boro Breath, Boro Breath, Boro Breath, like, all night, like, 100 times in a row or anything like that. But from what we've seen so far, he's attempted to bust out the Boro Breath on them, like, 3-4 times, and it didn't really look like he was really tired or worn out or anything. A lot of times when characters use devil fruit powers, we get the implication that it's like, it's basically not exhausting them at all. Law is kind of like one of the exceptions there, where Law specifically stated during Dressrosa, you know, the more I use my power, the larger I make my room, that does drain my stamina. That does kind of shorten my life a bit, especially when he made that giant room that was like the size of a mountain when he was fighting Dofi and Treble. He's like, yeah, that'll probably shorten my life a bit. I like to think that when you have a devil fruit power, it's kind of like anything. If you overexert the devil fruit power enough, you will get exhausted. It will tire you out. Like, I don't think Luffy could just, even back at the beginning of the story, I don't think Luffy could have, like, you know, Gumu Gumu no pistol. He did that a lot, but I think if he did that enough times, eventually he would get tired, just like you would get tired from just running around a lot. Of course, Luffy's got a lot of energy, so of course it would take longer than the average person, but it would still tire him out if he, like, overused his devil fruit enough. Now, Kaido is this insanely powerful Yonko, where, you know, the narrator came on, it's like, if it's one-on-one, Kaido wins. He's got all these crazy, he's like super buff, he's super tough, you know, and he's also pretty rough. So in that situation, you know, I wonder how many, like, his upper limits are. If you asked Oda directly, he would probably give you some kind of joke answer, like, hey, how many hands can Robin create, or what's the range of Robin's Hana Hana no Mi? Oh, it's about 500 Hana Hanas, I'd say about that. You ask, like, how many Boro Breaths can Kaido fire off in a single day? Oh, I don't know. Well, first you gotta convert the Boros to the dragon points, and depending on how many dragon points he has, that's gonna figure into it, but he gets more dragon points by drinking sake, but it has to be a certain kind of sake, so it might be something like that. I don't know, but I think at the end of the day here, he could fire off these Boro Breaths more than, you know, the scabbards could fight against him. Like, the scabbards would be tired out before Kaido gets tired out, is essentially what I'm trying to get across here, okay? So, we're getting into this other stage of the battle. I think Neko and Inu's Sulong are gonna wear off now. That's gonna be a huge disadvantage, and that was kind of set up like, this isn't gonna last a while, even though it's Neko and Inu, and they're really strong, and they're, like, you know, probably like the two strongest minks in the entire world. I don't know, Carrot's pretty up there too, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, eventually, though, it's gonna run out, and they've been doing a lot of high-octane attacks, so that's probably gonna run out. So next chapter might not be fun. It might not be fun. It might be like Kiku is down, Izo goes to kind of help her, and then all the other scabbards kind of attack Kaido, but they're all worn out. Kaido doesn't even need to use Boro Breath or anything. He just lets out a giant roar, just like the shockwaves from the roar might knock them down. And then Neko and Inu are like, maybe, oh, you know what they could do, though? Was something I would love to see. Can we see a Neko and Inu ultimate combo attack? Kind of like how Bang and Bomb teamed up against Elder Centipede. They sort of have that like super ultimate attack. It's like, okay, we can only do this once like a week, but here we go. Boom, boom. You know, cat dog barrage. Cat dog. Alone in the world with the little cat dog, and then just a giant cat dog just comes out like in a giant Kamehameha wave and just like attacks Kaido. And it hits him, it like knocks him back, and he's like, Boro, bro, oh wait, what? Cat dog barrage, boom! And it like knocks Kaido on his back, and then Neko and Ino are like really exhausted at it, like they charge up all their electro into one huge epic attack, but then after that they're just both completely drained, their Sulong dissipates, and they're really, really winded, and they're like, okay, alright, we're gonna need like 10 minutes to like chill out here. You know, Inuarashi is just like, where's Where's my water bowl at? I need some water. Damn. I was like, Neko's like, I need to lay down. I need some lasagna or something, right? So that's probably going to take them out of the battle. Kiku is out of the battle for right now. I'm not saying Kiku is out of the battle permanently, but for right now, she's probably not going to be able to get back up and fight after just losing an arm, and that's a lot of blood. Also going to probably have Izo or somebody to kind of tend to Kiku's wounds. So what does that leave us with? That leads us with Kinemon and Denjiro, Ashura Doji. Kawamatsu got knocked into a wall by Kaido 2 chapters ago. Did we see Kawamatsu in the last chapter? Hold on, I'm gonna go check that really quick, because I don't remember seeing any big Kawamatsu scenes, but I just want to make sure if he's still, like, standing with the group here. Okay, so I just went back and checked, and yes, Kawamatsu is there. He's, like, way in the background. You can barely see him, but when all of the scabbards knocked down Kaido and they were like, you know, slice his head off, Kawamatsu was there charging along with them. Okay, so Kawamatsu did recover from getting slammed into a wall. So we got Kawamatsu, Ashura Doji, Kinemon, Denjiro, and if you knew Neko, maybe if they get taken out or they use some attack or their Sulong dissipates, Izo and Kiku are probably going to be preoccupied. Yeah, that's not going to be looking good. And right when it's looking like Kaido's going to be like, all right, you're all beaten down. I'm just going to just stand still and let me just crush you. Let me just devastate you all with one attack in Odin's memory. You won't feel any pain. I'm just going to burn you into oblivion, right? And then right when he charges up like the biggest Boro breath ever, you know, like Galaxy Boro breath, and Kinemon's down there like, oh crap, I don't think I could slice that thing. And then Denjiro just kind of looks over at Kinemon like, we tried our best, brother. I guess we did. And then right when that happens, Room! Was like, wait, Kaido's like, wait, what? And then Law just, okay, can Law use his room? I know that when he activates it and he uses Shambles, it's not like he can move anything wherever he wants. He has to, like, swap objects, right? So it's like when Doflamingo was using his overheat, he had to, like, swap Doflamingo with, like, a log to get him to, like, go to a different direction. But would it be possible for him just to kind of flip Kaido around with his Ope Ope no Mi, right? So it's like, you know, Ultimate Galaxy Boro Breath! And then, Room! Shambles! Whoop! Boom! And then he just fires it off in the other direction. He just flips him around, does a 180. I don't think we've ever seen Law do that. I think it doesn't really matter, because Law could open up a big enough room and always just, like, take a rock or something and then just chuck it in the opposite direction and then use Shambles. But the thing is, Law's Devil Fruit is so useful. I think in this particular instance, against a very large enemy, yeah, he would have to make a bigger room, and that would drain his life force a bit. But if he makes a room as big as he did back at Dressrosa that completely covers, like, the dome of, not the entire dome, but, like, the roof where they're fighting on Onigashima, that would be insanely useful. Because basically, anytime Kaido goes to launch one of those big attacks, he could basically just, like, change his direction or change the output of the damage. You know, it's like, oh, giant laser beams coming toward us. Shambles! Phew, tact! And then just, you know, he could do that. I think he could definitely do that, the tact move, where whenever he activates tact, it's basically changing the gravitational force in whatever direction he wants. So he opens up a room, and then, like, the smoker's ship over at Punk Hazard, he's like, tact, and then just points up, and this entire battleship just gravity, like, reverses and, like, just gets lifted up. So he could do that with freaking Kaido, I think, easily. Like, he launches a Boro Breath, which is like a straight laser beam, and then Law's just tact. And then it just gets fired off into the freaking ocean. Or the Wind Scythe attack, the Lightning Breath. I think he could just tact any of those in, like, opposite directions. That makes me kind of think that Law, being such a tactical guy that he is, he uses tact, and he's also very tactical. I wouldn't be surprised if, last time we saw Law, he was just kind of fighting in the hallways, like a random corridor, fighting against some random gifters. But I wouldn't be surprised if Law was, like, maybe around the battlefield right now. Like, he made it to the roof a little bit ago, but he's not going to be like Luffy or Kid and just jump into the battle, because you know exactly that's what they would do, right? The second Luffy gets to the freaking roof access, he's not going to be like, wait a second, Jinbei, wait a second, Sanji. Let's just peek through the door and see the situation right now, see how the scabbards are faring, and then let's jump in case they're having trouble. You know, Luffy and Kid, if they arrived, it'd be funny if they arrived at the same time, like they were running up the stairs, and then Kid's running up the stairs as well. It's just like, I'm gonna get there first! No, I'm gonna get there first, stupid kid! And then, bam, they just burst open the door, and then they just attack Kaido at the same time. That'd be pretty cool, but it wouldn't really show a lot of, like, ingenuity or anything. They'd be, like, just charging into the battle, right? And because of dramatic timing and everything, it would probably be like right when Kaido's about to deliver the finishing blow, boom, Kid and Luffy charge in, and Zoro is there as well. And but you could have Law off to the side, like Law's like, oh, I've been observing this battle for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes now, and I'm just kind of waiting for the perfect time to really do this, you know, especially if he witnessed Raizo doing the scroll jutsu and like, oh, turning his attack back on him. Oh, could Law do that? Oh, that would be so cool. Here's Kaido, giant dragon duck, Boro breath, bing, tact, wait, what? Boom! Just right in his face. Oh, that would be cool. I don't know if Law could do that, though. I don't know if he could pull, like, a mirror move off and, like, just, like, 100%, like, bounce it back or whatever, like, freaking Ghost from Black Clover full reflection or whatever. I don't know if Law could do that necessarily, but he could definitely change the trajectory of the attacks, and I'm guessing because Kaido has all this powerful haki, you know, Law couldn't just cut him up with, like, you know, room shambles and then just, like, dice him up, like, you know, cutting up a snake or something. I don't think Law would be able to do that because of how strong Kaido was. It wouldn't be that easy. But redirecting attacks definitely would be something he could do. And also, if he made a room that's big enough, like, disorienting Kaido, like, moving him around, kind of like when the Shinigami were fighting Aizen, and you had that one scene where Shinji busts out Sakanade, and it's like, oh crap, you know, Aizen's getting ready to take an attack head on, and he's like, I'll block it or I'll use my illusions, and he's like, oh crap, everything's reversed right now. And it might be something like that, where the scabbards are all like jumping up. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Law doesn't even have to focus on Kaido. Law just makes a room big enough to fit all the scabbards in, and then the scabbards all like jump at Kaido at the same time. Meanwhile, you have Law's crew helping him out. You got Beppo, and you got, you know, Jean Bart and everybody, and, you know, Sachi and Penguin. Maybe, because, you know, usually when we see Law fighting, he's fighting by himself, or like fighting with Luffy, you know, to go up against Doflamingo, or at Sabaody, it was Kid, Law, and Luffy. But now he has like his crew with him. So you know Law's crew would probably be smart and play to the advantages of the Ope Ope no Mi. So Sachi and Penguin go behind Kaido, take a bunch of rocks or whatever, fire them up into the air, and then on the opposite side of Kaido, he doesn't notice. Meanwhile, the scabbards are charging right toward Kaido's face, and Kaido's like, these idiots, they're charging, I'm just gonna eat them, and it's not even gonna be a big deal. And then, room, shambles, and then they switch with the rocks on the other side, and then it's like, wait, what? And then boom, all the scabbards at once like slam into Kaido, like the back of the neck, just hit him right there, drop his ass. You know, that would be damn cool. So Law, I'm really hoping Law doesn't show up like the others, like Kid and Luffy and Zoro at once. I really hope he like, alright, or even it's like, you know what? Yeah, you guys charge in. I'll be back here, and, you know, you're not gonna listen to what I do, so how about you just do this? Just go attack him. Just attack him, and I'll be in the background, you know, teleporting you guys around so you don't get freaking just one shot, alright? So you go to attack him, and you hit him, and then I'm just gonna shambles you and, like, teleport you back here. There is snow falling. So that's the thing about Law's ability. Does it have to be a rock or a log? Can it just be a single snowflake? Like, there's a little snowflake next to Law. I'm just going to shambles you, like, where the snowflake was. Like, could he do that? I'm guessing he could. I don't think there's any limitations on why he couldn't, right? So we're gonna get into the second stage of this battle here, where we're going to be mixing and matching. It's not going to be like all the scabbards are defeated and then it's up to Luffy, Law, and Kid and Zoro to go and up against Kaido. We're going to have like some of the scabbards still fighting. But I think Inu and Neko are going to run out pretty quickly of their Sulong, so they're not going to be able to fight for a little while. Kiku's going to be out for a little while. I don't want Izo to be defeated so easily, because Izo is, of course, you know, the newest member of the Scabbards. Has kind of joined. He was one of the older members, but he joined up again. We haven't seen Izo in forever. So I can maybe see something like this. I could see Izo grabbing Kiku, getting her safe, you know, from the battlefield, tending to her injuries really quick, and then being worried about, you know, her, and being like, I don't know if I should go back and fight or if I should stay here. And Kiku kind of looks at her brother and is just like, Izo, you need to be with them. You need to finish this, you know, go. And then Izo's like, okay, I will, Kiku. And then he leaves and goes back to fight against Kaido. Something along those lines maybe might be how it goes, but Izo might be out of the fight for maybe a little bit. And then Kinemon and Ashura and Denjiro, I still really want to see what they're all capable of. I mean, we know Denjiro is pretty strong and everything, same with Ashura, but we really haven't seen any like special attacks from them or anything. We got to see Denjiro and Ashura do the Togen Totsuka, but I want to see techniques more limited to them. You know, like what's Ashura's, like, you know, best sword technique that he perfected. Same thing with Denjiro. What about their swords. You know, Kinemon's got the Foxfire. Maybe see some more stuff like that, where he just swings his sword. It's like, Foxfire Rampage, or something like that. Makes like a giant red fiery X in the air, and it like fires at Kaido or something. You know, like something like that I kind of want to see. And I would say, out of all of the scabbards, Kinemon and Denjiro kind of are going to have the most development here. But Ashura Doji, we've yet to see really a lot of him. And then Kawamatsu can just be there. Kawamatsu's just like, alright, Inu and Neko are gone, and Kiku lost an arm, and Izo's tending to her, and what do? It'd be like, you Kappa, Kawamatsu. You Kappa the night away. I'm like, okay, I'll Kappa, Kinemon. I will Kappa the crap out of this dragon duck. You know, I don't know what that means, but it's gonna happen, alright? And then you can also get Kid, Law, and Luffy and Zoro in on this as well, and then we could have that team up, and then that's where we could have, like, alright, well, they're worn down a little bit, but Luffy's kind of coming to the battle semi-fresh. He drained a little bit of stamina in the Golden Kagura, same thing with Kid. Law is probably doing his best to probably conserve his energy. Law is probably the one out of all of them that's like, okay, I'm not going to get worn out here. I'm going to maybe let my crew do most of the fighting, the gifters and the headliners, and then I get to the roof, and then I'm kind of, because, like, stamina is, like, such a big thing for Law. Like, it's a big thing for everybody, but for him specifically, he really has to conserve that for when he uses his Ope Ope no Mi. Also, a lot of people say, well, Law can also heal Kiku, right? I'm like, well, yeah, actually, you know what? That could work, too. I mean, it's not as simple as just, like, taking Kiku's arm and just popping it back on her body, you know what I mean? So, Law is going to have to actually go and tend to Kiku's wounds himself. So we might also have that. We might have, like, Kid, Law, and my Kid, Luffy, and Zoro popping in, and then Law's off to the side tending to Kiku's injuries, and then after he's done with that, then he joins the fight or something like that at the, maybe he joins it a little bit later. So yeah, either than that or Kiku just loses an arm, you know, but I think with Law there and with his powers and his medical prowess, I think they should be okay. But yeah, I just want to know what's going on with them right now. I could see, like, Kid and Killer still fighting in the festival hall, like getting to the roof. They still probably have the same premise, but Law might be doing something different. Law might be like, all right, I'm not just gonna rampage through this place. I have objectives. You know what I mean? I'm Law. I'm doing things, right? So that's probably gonna be the next switch out that we see. Might not happen in the next chapter, but probably coming up in the next few chapters. I would say chapter 1000, but that's still like 6 chapters away. I mean, it's possible. We could also do a thing where it's like next chapter we just see the scabbards getting kind of like beaten down by Kaido, and then we kind of wait to see some other fights. We see Yamato fighting Sasaki. We see Usopp and Nami going up against Ulti and Page 1. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Oda really is setting up these Tobi-Roppo fights now, because we have now 3 of the Tobi-Roppo, you know, that we know who are gonna fight. Yamato against Sasaki, Ulti, Page 1 against Usopp and Nami, going up against like a tag team there. So I think maybe in the next few chapters we're gonna get a setup for who's who. Then we're gonna have to get a setup for, well, Drake and Zoro were kind of fighting against Apu, but then Queen got involved, so who knows? We might have freaking Zoro and Drake teaming up against Queen next chapter. It might not be a fight that lasts very long, but they might very well fight against Queen. Who knows? Or they might just have to deal with all of the, to kind of like take out all of the ice demons that are being spawned by the Oni Excite bullets. Maybe it might be something like that. And then who else do we got? Black Maria. We got Black Maria. Who's gonna fight Black Maria? Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know what can happen. I can see Black Maria, because last time we saw her, she wasn't in the battlefield. She wasn't in the Golden Kagura. She was like in a random room, like playing the freaking biwa, and just, or the shamisen, just being like singing that song about the 2 lovers, the star-crossed lovers meeting on a snowy mountaintop at night, you know. So that's the last time we saw Black Maria. I could see Sanji being distracted by her. I could see like Luffy and Sanji and Jinbei running through the battlefield, and Sanji's like, Jinbei, make sure Luffy doesn't get distracted. It happens all the time. And then he hears Black Maria's voice, you know, singing the song, and Sanji's like, Jinbei, Luffy, you guys go on ahead. I'm gonna run over here and see what's going on. You guys, Jinbei, make sure he doesn't get distracted. Okay. And then Sanji runs over and opens the door, and Black Maria's in there strumming, and then he's just like, wow. You know, now, obviously, Sanji doesn't fight women, but that could be a distraction for him, most definitely, and don't say, oh, you know what would be actually really cool? So you remember the scene at Eni's lobby where he goes up against Khalifa very briefly? He does fight Khalifa. He just can't hit her, you know, with his... You can't hit her because of his chivalry and everything. But he still, like, clashes with her a little bit and, like, blocks her attacks and everything. And then he gets hit by the soap bubbles. And then there's that scene with Nami kind of, like, looking at Sanji and, like, all right, Sanji, I'll take care of the remainder of this fight. That was like a really cool Nami and Sanji moment there. It would actually be kind of neat if we got that moment maybe with Robin. So maybe like Sanji shows up, it's like, oh my god, you're a big woman. Oh my goodness. This is, you know, I think I'm in love. And then Black Maria is like, I'm going to kill you. And then she like gets up and goes to attack Sanji, and Sanji's like, what? And then Robin shows up and uses, you know, her like hands to like block the attack or something. And then we have like a Robin and Sanji kind of fight. I'm not really sure how that would work because Black Maria, but you know, I don't know how that would go down, but that'd be a cool thing. And also Robin, that would be perfect because Robin can use her abilities. We have yet to see this, but she could easily do this. Giant version of Robin. Like, she could do that. I kind of wanted to see that, like, a mech fight, you know, kind of like Giant Robin against Big Mom or something, but, you know, she could easily do that to go up against, like, Black Maria, you know, so we'll see where that goes, but, I mean, Robin right now is, you know, we don't know where she's at, you know, she was teamed up with Jinbei, but then Jinbei went to be with Luffy. Zoro is dealing with Drake. Usopp and Nami are going up against Page One and Ulti. Where is Chopper at? I don't remember where Chopper was at. I think Chopper... Where the hell is he? I guess he's just in the hall, right? Because he was with Usopp in the Brachio tank. Then Frankie took over, and then Frankie and Brook are teamed up right now. But what the hell happened to Chopper? I guess he's just in the festival hall wandering. We're gonna cut to next chapter. Chopper's just wandering around. He got separated from everybody. He's like, I don't know what's going on! I'm guessing Chopper would probably just be teamed up with Frankie and Brook in that regard. And then that's cool, because we haven't seen, like, those three, like, getting together in, like, one big fight or something like that. But I guess we'll see where that goes. Maybe they're gonna go up against Who's Who. That would be neat. Frankie, Brook, and Chopper against Who's Who. And his, like, legion of, like, sexy cat girls. Okay, you know, like, why not? Like, give it a shot, right? Okay, so that'd be cool, right? Brook's the swordsman. Who's Who has a sword. Frankie's got a motorcycle. He's in the battle, Frankie, right now. He was going up against the numbers. But I don't know if, like, because the numbers are kind of defeated, at least the three of them that came into the hall. So they might go up against the rest of the numbers, or maybe Who's Who. That'd be neat. Actually, that would be cool. I'm kind of more for that. I'm kind of more for Frankie and Chopper teaming up. Frankie in the Battle Frankie, and then Chopper in Monster Point wrangling the rest of the numbers. Going to, like, a big wrestling, like, come on, numbers, time to wrestle! Monster Point, roar! You know, Frankie, Shogun, beam! You know, that kind of stuff. And then, I don't know, Brook can just fight against Who's Who on his own. I think he's got this. He's a skeleton, for God's sake. Like this spider! Yeah. You guys have a good night. That's pretty much all I came to see. Get hyped for the fights coming up here in a little while. No break on One Piece next week. That's cool. Just gonna turn out the lights again, and hopefully he will be gone.